Hi guys, welcome to this month's free masterclass where we're going to talk meditation, the basics. This is something that I get asked about a lot. So I want to be able to just kind of break it down for you and really simplify it. Meditation is something that we hear so much about, right? And it's one of those things where it can seem a little bit overwhelming. Like, where do I start? How do I do it? Why do I need to do it? And that kind of thing. So what I want to be able to do is kind of break it down, really simplify it for you, and just share with you what I know about meditation, share with you how it's helped me and how it can potentially help you as well. I'll break down some of the benefits and we'll sort of talk about some of the myths, like some of the common misconceptions around meditation and that sort of thing. I will give you some tips that have worked for me and that can work for you as well. So you can make it something that you look forward to doing because you know that it's going to be good for your soul. And then I have also recorded a really special body scan meditation for you. So you'll find that down on this page, down below. You'll find a body scan link, body scan meditation link, which I've recorded for you guys especially. So you can pop that audio into your ears and listen to that. You can allow me to guide you through that beautiful meditation anytime you like. So I really hope that you enjoy that. But before you go and listen to that, before you go and pop that into your ears, let's get into the basics. So what the heck is meditation? Good question. Well, in the Tibetan language, to meditate means to become familiar with, okay? To become familiar with. So the way I look at that is when we're meditating, we're going within and we're becoming familiar with ourselves. You're observing yourself, you're observing your thoughts, you're developing yourself and you're developing your brain, you're training your brain as well. Now, the more that you practice meditation, the more you're going to become familiar with yourself, the more you're going to get to know yourself. And get to know your values, your desires, and your triggers. And, you can become really aware of what's going on for you when you practice this meditation. You can start to become more aware of your beliefs and your vision, because sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I hear this a lot from women who just don't take that time to actually kind of get to know themselves, don't take that time to get to know who they are on the inside as a woman, as a person, not as a mum, not as a partner, not as an employee or a business owner, but who they are on the inside. A lot of us don't take that time out to actually get to know who we are and what we want in life. And practicing meditation can be a beautiful bridge between where we are now and where we actually want to be. Okay? Now, one of the aims of practicing meditation is to actually take your brain into a slower brainwave state, okay? So that you can move into a more, like a deeper subconscious mind. So when we're in that deeper subconscious mind, that is where we can start to create change, okay? That's very, very hard for us to change who we are or our beliefs and how we show up in life if we're not actually getting in touch with that deeper subconscious mind. Now, to do that, to get into that place of that deeper subconscious mind, we've got to take that time to get quiet, okay? We've actually got to take that time out for ourselves. We've got to be able to slow the fuck down. Now, one of the aims of meditation is to actually move our brain into what's called a delta wave state, okay? So that's one of the brain waves, and that's actually the slowest of the brain waves, okay? And it's the closest to the subconscious mind. So we've got beta, alpha, theta, and delta, okay? And now we spend most of our day, a lot of our waking hours, we spend in a heightened beta state, right? And that's a very, very high frequency. And what's happening when we're in that heightened beta state is it's like everything's an emergency, everything's a crisis. There's feelings of anxiety, there's overwhelm, there's frustration, there's being, short-tempered, potentially aggressive, and all of those kind of, maybe icky emotions. And when we remain in this heightened state, when we, remain in this like chaotic state, I suppose is a really good word for it as well, we simply can't solve the issues that are causing these emotions, okay? So what we actually need to do is take some time out to slow down our mind. We need to be able to get out of that fight or flight mode. We need to turn off that stress response. So, because if we're not doing that, like, we're going to perpetuate more and more of those emotions, and so continues that cycle. And that, for so many people, is often why we can't get to where we want to get. We can't actually create that life that we really want to create, because we're not taking enough time to remove ourselves from this fight or flight, really stressful kind of situation, and actually move into this like lower, slower frequency where we can give ourselves more of a chance to focus on this inner self, okay? And when we can do that, we move out of that survival mode. We move out of that like stress response, fight or flight. Sorry, I've got an itchy eye. We move out of all of that kind of stressful kind of place, and we can move into more of a place of calm and discovery and learning and growth. And when we can actually move out of this crisis state, out of those anxiety feelings, out of that frustration, out of that stress, then we can begin to resolve the problems that we're having, and we can start to like look at what's actually going on for us, and we can start to make the changes that we really want to make, okay? Because this stuff actually helps us to train our brain to become more present, okay? So personally, I've done a lot of different types of meditation over the years. I've probably been doing it for maybe the last 5 years on and off. And I do it most days now. I went through a period where I neglected my practice, and I think my body and certainly my mental well-being, I really noticed it. But I am back into the swing of it now, and I have been for the last several months, which has been a really, really positive thing for me. And I do it most days. I'm not going to say every day, because I'm human, and mum life, some days are a little bit unpredictable. So I aim for 5 out of 7 days every single week. And I normally nail that. Sometimes I get 6 or 7 days. But yeah, 5 days out of 7 every single week. And it's something that I do as part of my morning routine. And there's a couple of reasons why I do it in the morning, which I'll talk about later. But it's something that I really look forward to each day. And I have found like that overall it's really helped my mental well-being, but it's helped me to manage my thoughts, to manage my emotions a bit better as well. And it's helped me become more present as well. And that's particularly important. That's important for so many reasons, but for me, it's particularly important when I'm with my daughter, that I am as present as I can be with her. And what I find is that on those days that I don't practice my meditation, I do notice it. But I am at the point now where I'm very aware of my thoughts and my emotions and how I'm feeling. So, and that's the first step to being able to sort of change anything. But I am very aware of it, so I can get myself back into the present moment. But I do find that it is a lot easier on the days that I do practice the meditation. Honestly, even 5 minutes is better than nothing. And yeah, it's helped me so much. As I said, it's helped me connect more to my creativity as well, and to my vision and what I want my future to look like as well. That's such a beautiful way to practice meditation, is by actually visualizing how you desire your future to be. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits. And I guess I've probably just kind of covered a couple of those then, but let's dive into some of the benefits and some of the ways that it can help you. Now, let's not like have our rose-colored glasses on here, because a couple of minutes of meditation every day is probably not going to solve, all of your emotional sort of things that you want to solve, or it's not going to solve all of the world's problems in the first week, okay? But it is a practice, okay? It is a practice, and the more you practice and the more consistent you are in your practice, the more you'll notice the benefits, okay? It's like anything in life, anything new that we start as well, or, it's like going to the gym, right? You go to the gym that first time, or maybe even the first week, and you are sore, and you're like, man, this is hard. Can I keep doing this? But then what you find is you sort of get through those first weeks or first few days, first few weeks, and you start to feel really good and you start to really notice the benefits. So some of the things that you might find, and as I said, that I found, is that it improves your concentration and your focus, as well as your ability to just kind of be in that present moment. It can reduce anxiety and it can lower stress as well. This is a really, really big thing, particularly, if you are a mum or just if you're a woman and out in the world. Like, the world is a bloody stressful place at times. So having a meditation practice can really help you to be able to manage your emotions and especially like deal with, what's going on in the world at the moment. Especially, it's a pretty crazy time at the moment. So a nice meditation process can really help to ground you and bring you back to the things that you can control, bring you back to the present moment. It can also, it can help you to manage your thoughts. It can help you to train your brain as well. Now, this is a really, really big point. So I'll talk to you soon about your thoughts in a minute. But as I said a couple of times, it can really help you bring yourself back to the present moment. And what you're doing when you're bringing yourself back to the present moment, that's how you're training your brain, which is pretty incredible. And also, if you're spiritual, meditation is an amazing way to like connect with your higher self, to connect with your spirit guides, to connect with the universe and things like that. It's really your connection point. So there's a few myths about meditation that I think I would like to bust, guys. And I think some of these myths tend to hold people back. And I know that some of them held me back. And that's why I want to talk to you guys about them now, because I feel like if they held me back, then they might be holding you back from getting started too. Okay, myth number 1, I have to completely switch off my brain. No, you don't have to completely switch off your brain. Now, as part of being a human, we're in a human experience. We are going to have thoughts float in and float out of our mind, okay? That's just a completely natural occurrence. And yes, that does happen while you meditate as well. So if you're sort of thinking like, I can't meditate because I can't turn my brain off, that's perfectly okay. Stick with me. Now, as thoughts float into your mind, which they're going to, your job is to watch them come in, okay, and to then allow them to float back out. Okay, so you'll have thoughts pop into your mind, and the important thing is that you watch them and you acknowledge them, but you don't buy into the story, okay, and you don't allow yourself to run off with the thoughts and start, creating stories, basically. So if you notice yourself, if you notice a thought coming in, which you will, 100% you will notice thoughts coming into your mind, that's okay. Become aware of it. Then bring yourself back to your breath. Okay, so connecting with your breath, and we'll talk about that soon. We'll talk about that very shortly. Connecting yourself with your breath is a way of bringing yourself back to the present moment. Okay, so focusing, on your breath is, a way of bringing yourself back into that present moment. Now, it does not matter how many times you need to notice the thought, acknowledge it, allow it to float away, and then bring yourself back to your breath. You could do it 5 times, 10 times, 100 times in your practice. Like, it legit does not matter how many times you've got to do that, okay? And what you'll find is that the more you practice, you'll be doing that less frequently. Those thoughts will be coming in less frequently, and you'll be buying into the stories less frequently, and your periods will get a lot longer. So, but I want you to know you don't need to switch your brain off, and thoughts are completely natural. It's a completely natural and normal part of meditation. Okay, myth number 2, I can't meditate. Now, I've heard so many people say this one, and honestly, guys, anybody can meditate. You can meditate, I can meditate, we can all meditate. It's just really about persisting, okay? You've got to persist because, as I said before, you're training your brain, okay? And you're growing your ability to manage your thoughts. So the important thing to understand here is that there's no right or wrong, okay? There's no right way to meditate. There's no wrong way to meditate. And what I'm going to share with you today is just simply some of the things that have helped me, okay? for some people, meditation is like sitting on the toilet while you're on a quick break at work and taking 3 big deep breaths. Okay, it looks different for all of us. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad meditation. So please be kind to yourself, okay? And if you notice that you allowed yourself to run off with your thoughts, a bit more than what you would have liked, that's okay. Be kind to yourself. And the fact that you've become aware of that, if that does happen and you become aware of it, that's great, because it means that you're growing, okay? It means that being aware means that you're on the way to making change, because that's the first step to changing anything, is becoming aware of it, okay? And we can do it differently next time. So there's always tomorrow's meditation. There's always next time that you can be conscious. And perhaps you can even then next time set the intention to remain more focused. Set the intention to really focus on your breath and to bring yourself back to your breath when you're running away with stories. Myth number 3, meditation is hard. Okay, this is kind of a myth, but it's kind of not a myth at the start. But again, stick with me. There is a little bit of truth to this myth when you're starting out, okay? When you're starting out, as I said, it is like anything. Anything new can feel a little bit hard. It can feel awkward. It can feel like there's resistance. And I want you to know that that is so normal, okay? So don't be hard on yourself if you feel resistance, or you'll probably sit down and you'll feel uncomfortable and you'll feel awkward and you'll feel fidgety, and all of a sudden you'll go, I've got an itchy eye, or you'll just notice little things crop up. That is totally normal, okay? Particularly in the start, that is totally normal. When you're feeling awkward or uncomfortable, what does that mean, guys? It means you're growing. Okay. And that is, so if you're feeling like that, and if you're feeling awkward and oh God, this is, uncomfortable, but I'm doing it, that's friggin' amazing, because it means that you're growing. Okay. So embrace that feeling, embrace that. And remember, again, you are human. Okay. It is not going to be perfect. Yes, it might feel a little bit hard to begin with, but remember, it's like anything. It's like training your biceps at the gym, or whatever you're training. It's like training any muscle group at the gym. Practice makes perfect, and consistency is key, okay? And when I say practice makes perfect, aim for progress over perfection, okay? This is not about sitting down and going, I had the most perfect meditation. It's not about that. It's about showing up and doing it and learning for next time, okay? Now, I want to share with you some really practical tips and a bit of a how-to, I suppose, and some of the things that have worked for me when it comes to meditating. So first of all, you can schedule your meditation, and I find that this really helps me to show up each day. So I make sure, and as I said, my meditation is part of my morning routine. So perhaps decide, do you want it to be part of your morning? Do you want it to be part of your evening? Okay, morning and evening are both really great times. Evening when you're sort of close to going to bed and you're really tired, and morning when you've just woken up. And the reason for this is because that's when we're closest to that subconscious state. We're closest to being on that delta brainwave being, that slower frequency. So it's really beneficial to do your meditation if you can, early in the morning or late in the evening, because what that means is that it's going to amplify the effects, because your brain is going to absorb a lot more, okay? Your subconscious is going to absorb a lot more of it. But obviously, whenever you can do it is great. So if you'd prefer to do it on your lunch break when you're at work, and if you've got a nice place that you can go outside and you can sit down and do it, go for it, whatever works. But the key here is just scheduling it. Schedule it like it's an appointment, and try to stick to that appointment. Now, if you're using your phone, I would suggest turning off any notifications that you've got going on. I have a couple of times been mid-meditation and just noticed some messages, or, even a phone call, has interrupted me. And I tell you what, once you start getting to the point where you're really enjoying your meditation and you're looking forward to it, that is the last thing that you want. Okay, so you want to be as free of distractions as you can, which I suppose leads into the next point of like making sure you find a nice quiet space where you're not going to be distracted for however long you're going to choose to meditate. So do it somewhere that is free of distractions for maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and somewhere that you can sit comfortably and you won't be disturbed. And when it comes to duration, I would say anywhere from, when you're beginning, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, or 10 to 20 minutes is absolutely great. And if you can go longer, go for it. Sitting. So when it comes to sitting, make sure you're sitting up straight. Okay, I'm probably not a very good example. I'm a bit hunched over right now, but when I meditate, I'm really conscious to make sure that I am sitting up straight. And I have my my chin just tucked in ever so slightly. And like, imagine that you've got like a piece of string just sort of pulling up at the back of your head. Okay, so all your spine is aligned, your head is like being pulled up by this imaginary string, and your chin is just ever so slightly tucked in. It's completely up to you whether you choose to sit in a chair, or whether you choose to sit cross-legged on the floor or on a couch or on a bed. Personally, that's how I do it. Like, I cross my legs, and it really depends where I do my meditation in the morning, whether I'm on the couch or on my bed or in the spare room on the floor. It all really depends, but I'm a leg crosser. If you're not comfortable with that, that's totally cool. Like, you can sit in a chair, pop your feet flat on the ground, but you can do it basically anywhere. Okay, so for beginners, I would recommend starting off with a guided meditation. Okay, so there's some fantastic apps that you can utilize, and I'll share some of the meditations that I've used in the past, or that I've come across in the past, that are quite good. But in terms of the apps, I've used Insight Timer, which is a free app. There's also one called Calm, which I believe is a paid app, and Headspace, which is another paid app. I haven't used either of those two. I use Insight Timer, and I also use YouTube as well. There are hundreds of thousands, probably more, between those platforms. So it's really just up to you to choose which platform you prefer. As I said, I will share some of the ones that you might find value in below here. But before you sit down to meditate, go into it with an intention. Okay, so what are you wanting to achieve from the meditation? Are you wanting to feel more calm and more grounded? Are you wanting to feel like more creative and more inspired? Are you wanting to feel grateful and abundant? Like, what are you wanting to feel as a result of the meditation? And once you've got a clear idea of what your intention is, you can then go into these platforms, and you can search for like gratitude meditation or creativity meditation, whatever it is that you're wanting to experience. So I've linked some below for the beginners in particular, but if you've been practicing meditation for a while, you might get to a point where you don't want to be guided, and where you just simply want to focus on your breath, or you might want to focus on a mantra. Okay, there's a whole heap of different ways you can do it, where you're sitting in silence, or you've got like some nice ambient background music going, okay, or like bells and bowls and that kind of thing. So when you're meditating, simply close your eyes and stay focused on your breath, or if you're listening to a guide, stay focused on what that guide is telling you. But when you're saying focus on your breathing and focus on that guide, that's really the way to anchor yourself to something that is more in the present moment. Okay, so again, whenever you get distracted, because you will get distracted, okay, I want you to know that, and I want you to get okay with that. This is not about showing up and being perfect and having the perfect meditation, okay? It's about showing up, okay, and learning and growing. So when you get distracted and you realize that you're lost in this thought, or you're running away with this story, you can just simply come back to your breath, okay? Come back to your breath and focus on your breath again. And again, when you do notice it, that's perfectly okay, because it means that you're building that awareness, which is really important. You're training your brain to come back to that present moment. Take it day by day, guys. So don't worry if you miss a day. Do not worry if you miss a day, or don't worry if your thoughts run away from you the next day, or you felt like you got distracted one day. It's okay. All right. It's okay. It's a practice again. And as I said before, like, it can feel difficult, especially when you're starting. I mean, I even have days sometimes where I do feel like it's just not flowing. And that's okay. We're going to have days like that. We're humans in this human experience. It's not always going to be bloody rainbows and roses. All right. So let's just be real about it. What was I going to say? I've totally lost my train of thought. But yes, it's perfectly okay if and when these thoughts float in and out of your mind. Okay. Try to stay mindful after your meditation in the rest of your day as well. So this will help you to build that awareness and bring that awareness into your everyday life as well. If you're noticing like that you're stressed or something like that, that's totally okay. It's actually a good thing that you notice it, again, because we're building that awareness. And when you do notice it, it means that you're not just going about your day on autopilot anymore. And that is really, really powerful, because what that means is you can then start to implement some strategies because you're aware of that stress. Okay, you're not just simply going on autopilot, allowing it to take over your body and your mind. A body scan meditation is awesome for beginners. As I said before, it really helps you with where to focus your attention, okay? And that's the one that I've recorded for you. There's also meditations for like cutting cords and forgiveness, which are very, very powerful as well. There are meditations for connecting to your creativity and your visualizations as well. There's like a meditation for just about anything these days. So as I said, I have recorded a beautiful body scan meditation for you to listen to. And I'll just simply, through that meditation, I just simply guide you on becoming aware of the different parts of your body so that you can find yourself in a really calm and relaxed state. Okay, that's really the purpose of this meditation, is for you to notice the sensations in your body. So you're taking the opportunity to remove yourself from the outside world, and you're actually going within, and you're focusing on yourself and your body and the sensations. So I would love to hear what you guys think when you take yourself through it. I welcome your questions, and I love having conversations about meditation. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about with people. And I think it is so because I know how powerful it is. I know the changes that it can help you kind of have within your body, within your mind, and it's such a powerful tool. So I welcome you to drop me a DM at any time. You guys know where to find me on Instagram at Carly Hinges. I would love to hear your experiences with meditation as well. And let me know if you enjoy the download. And thank you so much for watching this little masterclass, Meditation the Basics. And I'll chat with you guys all soon. Bye.